What if the silence you are constantly running from is the exact place where your true strength is waiting to be found? Have you ever noticed how difficult it is to simply sit still, without a screen glowing, without a voice playing in your ear, without a mental list of tasks waiting to be crossed off? Most people do not realize that their endless need for motion is not always a sign of ambition. It is often a profound, quiet form of fear. In a world where being busy is worn like a badge of honor, we have been conditioned to treat every quiet moment as wasted time. If we are not moving, we feel we are falling behind. If we are not entertained or engaged, we feel empty. Think about your own life. You finish a long day, yet the moment the house grows quiet, a subtle anxiety creeps in. You immediately reach for your phone. You turn on music in the background. You replay trivial conversations from yesterday, or you begin planning the imaginary emergencies of tomorrow. You do everything in your power to avoid simply being alone with yourself. We chase intensity, distraction, and novelty, mistaking them for joy. We believe that a loud, fast-paced life is a full life, but Buddhist wisdom offers a very different perspective. It teaches us that this restless searching is the root of much of our suffering. We cling to external noise because we are terrified of our own internal stillness. We believe that if we just keep moving, if we just keep filling the void, we will eventually reach a place of lasting happiness. But peace cannot be chased. The mind that is constantly grasping for the next moment can never appreciate the moment that is already here. Imagine a glass of water scooped from a muddy river. If you constantly shake the glass, the water will remain cloudy and dark. You cannot force the dirt to settle by shaking the glass harder. You cannot clear the water by aggressively carrying it from room to room. The only way to clear the water is to set the glass down, to leave it alone. In the stillness, the mud naturally sinks to the bottom, and the water becomes perfectly clear. Your mind is that glass of water. When you fill every second of your day with noise, tasks, and endless scrolling, you are constantly shaking the glass. You never allow the mud to settle. And because of this, life feels permanently confusing, urgent, and overwhelming. You feel emotionally exhausted, not necessarily because you are doing too much, but because you are never allowing yourself to do nothing. Ask yourself, what are you afraid will happen if you simply stop? What quiet truth, what heavy thought are you trying to outrun with your endless activity? Are you afraid that if you stop achieving, you will suddenly lose your worth? Stop, breathe, let that sink in. The next time you find yourself with an empty 5 minutes, do not immediately reach for a distraction. Let the emptiness exist. Observe the sudden, frantic urge in your mind to fill the space. Watch that urge rise like a wave, but do not let it sweep you away. Let the feeling pass without reacting to it. Sit gently with the quiet. You do not have to earn the right to exist in stillness. You do not have to constantly prove your value through motion. True joy does not depend on the intensity of your life, because peace is not something you build with frantic hands. It is something you make space for. But letting go of this addiction to noise is only the first step. And this is where the next truth begins. Because beneath this desperate need to always be doing something, there is an illusion that keeps us running in circles. 2. The illusion of constant progress. What if the harder you try to move forward, the more exhausted and lost you become? Here is a truth that is deeply uncomfortable for the modern mind. We live under a heavy, invisible demand that every single day must be a step forward. If you reach the end of the day and you have not achieved a goal, learned a new skill, or conquered a task, a quiet voice whispers that you have failed. You feel a sinking, familiar guilt. We have been taught to measure our entire existence by what we produce. We treat rest not as a natural right, but as a temporary, calculated pause, meant only to help us work harder tomorrow. We are obsessed with the idea of constant, linear growth. And because of this, we constantly feel like we are falling behind in life. In Buddhist thought, one of the deepest lessons is the understanding of natural cycles and the release of our attachment to outcomes. The belief that life must be an endless, upward trajectory is an illusion that guarantees suffering. Nature does not work in straight lines. The universe moves in rhythms. It expands and it rests. When we cling tightly to the idea of constant progress, we reject the natural flow of life. We lose the present moment because we are always leaning too aggressively into the future, desperate for the next achievement to validate our worth. Imagine a great ancient tree standing quietly in a deep forest. In the warmth of spring and summer, it grows new leaves, it reaches upward, and it blossoms. But when the cold winds of winter arrive, the tree lets all its leaves fall to the earth. It stops growing outward. It becomes completely bare and perfectly still. To a restless, anxious mind, the tree in winter looks as if it is failing. It looks as if it has stopped making progress. But beneath the dark, frozen earth, in absolute silence, the roots are resting and storing energy. The stillness of winter is not a failure. It is not wasted time. It is the vital, quiet strength that makes the spring possible. Yet, in our own lives, we refuse to accept our winters. When we face days or months where our energy is low, where inspiration fades, or where we simply need to stop, we panic. We force ourselves to keep grinding at work. We force ourselves to maintain a facade of endless energy in our relationships. We fight against our own nature, pushing blindly through the cold, wondering why we feel so bitterly emotionally exhausted. Think about your own life. Are you judging your right to breathe by how much you accomplished today? What are you afraid will happen if you accept that right now you are simply in a season of stillness? If you stripped away all your goals, your tasks, and your busy schedules, would you still feel worthy of peace? Pause. Breathe. Observe the guilt that rises when you try to rest, but do not follow it down its familiar, anxious path. You are not a machine built for endless output. Let the day end without demanding that it prove its worth. Stop trying to force the leaves to grow in the middle of the snow. Because true strength is not found in moving forward every single second. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is stand completely still and let your roots deepen in the dark. But to accept this quiet rhythm, you must first let go of the hunger for constant stimulation. And this brings us to the next profound truth. Because a mind hooked on excitement will always struggle to find peace in the ordinary. 3. The endless cycle of chasing novelty. What if the constant search for the next great thrill is exactly what is making your life feel so empty? Here is the truth few people want to face. We are a culture addicted to the peak experience. We are obsessed with the spark of the new. A new relationship, a new city, a new job, a new purchase. In the beginning, the rush of newness is blinding and intense, but inevitably, the fireworks fade. The routine sets in, and when that quiet settles, we feel a sudden, uncomfortable drop in our chest. We convince ourselves that something is wrong. We think this person, this place, or this path is no longer right for us, simply because the intense excitement has stopped. So we mentally or physically pack our bags, and we begin the frantic chase all over again. We confuse the quiet calm of stability with a loss of meaning. In Buddhist thought, one of the deepest teachings revolves around craving and attachment. A mind that constantly craves novelty is a mind in a perpetual state of starvation. It is the condition of the hungry ghost, always eating, but never full. We suffer because we attach our happiness to intensity. We believe that joy only exists in the loud, the dramatic, and the extraordinary. But Buddhism reminds us that this craving blinds us. When we demand that life constantly entertains us with high peaks, We lose the ability to see the quiet miracles of the present moment. Imagine a person wandering through a vast, quiet landscape, completely consumed by the search for a massive, roaring fire. They run frantically from place to place, desperate for a blaze that reaches the sky to warm them. In their endless sprinting, they completely ignore the gentle, steady warmth of the morning sun, rising and touching their skin. They walk right past the small, glowing embers of a quiet hearth. Because they are exclusively looking for a roaring inferno, they spend their entire journey shivering and feeling cold. This is exactly how many of us treat joy. We are always looking for the blazing fire. We wait for the massive promotion, the perfect cinematic romance, or the dramatic life change to finally feel alive. But in doing so, we overlook the quiet warmth of a simple cup of tea in the morning. We ignore the steady, unspectacular comfort of a long-term friend. We dismiss the quiet peace of a slow afternoon as boring or mundane. We let the ordinary moments slip entirely through our hands because we mistakenly believe they are not loud enough to matter. Think about your own life. How much of your existence have you missed because you were waiting for something more exciting to happen? Are you constantly looking ahead to the weekend, to the vacation, to the next chapter, completely discarding the day you are actually living right now? Pause, breathe. Bring your attention to something incredibly simple in this exact moment. The feeling of the air in the room, the weight of your own hands resting in your lap. Do not ask this moment to entertain you. Just let it be. You do not need to constantly shock your life into motion to feel alive. True joy does not require a grand stage or a deafening applause. It is found in the quiet appreciation of what is already here. But to find joy in the ordinary, you have to be willing to sit in the stillness you have spent so much time avoiding. And this brings us to the most difficult step of the journey, because facing the quiet means finally facing whatever is hiding inside of it. 4. The courage to face the silence. What if the silence you are so terrified of is not empty at all, but full of the answers you have been desperately searching for? Here is a hard truth about our modern existence. We do not just fill our lives with noise because we enjoy it. We fill our lives with noise because we are running away. Think about the moments when the noise finally stops. You park your car in the driveway, turn off the engine, and for a few seconds, there is absolute quiet. You lie in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, waiting for sleep. In those unguarded moments, what happens? The memories you tried to bury begin to surface. The anxiety about tomorrow creeps in. The lingering sting of being ignored or feeling unappreciated rises in your chest. The silence becomes a mirror, reflecting all the unresolved pain, insecurity, and fear we carry. So, what do? We panic. We grab our phones. We play a video in the background. We turn the television on just to have a voice in the room. We treat silence as an enemy that must be defeated. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us something profoundly different about this quiet space. In Buddhist thought, silence is not a void to be filled. It is the canvas upon which the truth of our minds is finally revealed. The discomfort we feel in the quiet is not caused by the silence itself. It is caused by our intense resistance to what arises within it. Buddhism reminds us of the power of gentle observation. This means allowing our fears, regrets, and worries to rise to the surface without immediately trying to push them away and without letting them drag us away. Imagine a dark, quiet house, and at the end of the hallway is a heavy, locked wooden door. For years, you have heard a soft, unsettling scratching on the other side. Terrified of what might be waiting in the dark, you spend your entire life dragging heavy furniture in front of the door. You play loud music day and night to drown out the sound. You exhaust yourself constantly guarding the hallway. But one day, you become too tired to keep fighting. You move the furniture. You turn the key. You open the door. And as the light fills the room, you realize there is no monster. There is only a small, frightened bird that flew in long ago, desperate to find its way out. This is what we do with our own minds. The emotions we run from, the fear of failure, the pain of a broken relationship, the quiet belief that we are falling behind in life, are just trapped birds. But instead of opening the door and letting them fly away, we build massive walls of endless distraction. We exhaust ourselves with overtime at work. We drown our evenings in meaningless scrolling. We refuse to look at the pain, and so the pain remains trapped inside us, quietly scratching at the door of our awareness. Ask yourself, what are you guarding behind your own locked doors? What heavy thought or lingering sadness are you so afraid of hearing that you would rather exhaust your mind than simply sit in a quiet room? Is your constant distraction truly bringing you peace, or is it just feeding your fear? Pause, breathe, stop forcing the door closed. The next time you find yourself alone in the quiet and a difficult emotion rises, do not reach for a distraction. Sit still. Let the feeling enter the room. Look at it without judgment. Let the thought drift across the open sky of your mind, without letting it become your identity. Let it pass. You are not powerless against your own thoughts. You do not have to keep running, because the things we run from lose all their power the exact moment we find the courage to turn around and observe them. But once you stop running, you must learn how to live in the space you have just cleared. And this is where the next truth begins. Because when the noise finally fades, the ordinary world suddenly reveals a beauty you have been too busy to see. 5. Rediscovering joy in the ordinary. What if the peace you are desperately searching for has been quietly waiting for you, in the very moments you were rushing past? Here is a strange contradiction in how we live. We spend the vast majority of our lives waiting for life to actually begin. We live under the heavy illusion that our real life is waiting for us in the future. We tell ourselves, once I get through this week, I can relax. Once I finish this project, I can finally breathe. Once it is Friday, I will be happy. We treat the mundane parts of our day, washing dishes, commuting to work, folding clothes, drinking a simple cup of coffee, as obstacles. We mentally fast forward through our days, treating the present moment as an irritating delay. And because of this, we throw away a massive portion of our existence, treating it as useless filler. In Buddhist thought, mindfulness is not simply about sitting quietly on a cushion in a perfectly silent room. It is the profound practice of being completely present in every single action, no matter how small. Buddhism reminds us that there are no ordinary moments. The division between sacred time and mundane time is an illusion created by a restless mind. When a monk sweeps the courtyard, the sweeping is not a distraction from spiritual practice. It is the practice itself. Joy is not found by constantly changing what we are doing, but by entirely changing how we are doing it. Imagine a traveler rushing up a steep mountain, desperate to reach the peak before sunset to witness a famous, spectacular view. Along the way, they trample over rare, beautiful wildflowers blooming in the soil. They ignore the cool, fresh stream flowing quietly beside the path. They barely hear the wind moving gently through the ancient pine trees. When they finally reach the top, the sun has already set. They are exhausted, deeply frustrated, and believe the entire journey was a tragic waste. They missed the mountain completely because they were only looking at the peak. We treat our own days exactly like this mountain. We rush through the morning commute, frustrated by the delay, completely blind to the sky changing colors above us. We rush through our work so we can simply go home. We sit across the table from people we love, but our minds are 1,000 miles away, lost in a screen, replaying an old argument, or stressing about tomorrow. We are physically present in our lives, but we are entirely absent. We are always running toward a future peak that never actually arrives, trampling over the quiet beauty of a normal Tuesday afternoon. Think about your own life. How many days have you wished away simply because they did not feel exciting or productive? What quiet miracles are you failing to see right now because your eyes are stubbornly fixed on tomorrow? Pause, breathe, bring your mind completely into the next small thing you do today. If you are drinking water, do not plan your evening. Just drink the water. Feel the temperature. Notice the glass in your hand. Be entirely there. Let the simple act of existing be enough. You do not need to wait for a perfect, dramatic day to feel alive, because the true depth of your life is not determined by how many grand events you experience, but by how deeply you are present for the small, quiet ones. But learning to be present in the ordinary requires something incredibly difficult for the modern mind. It requires untangling your identity from your achievements. And this is where the next truth begins. Because as long as you believe your worth is tied to what you produce, the quiet will always feel like a failure. 6. Detaching your worth from your output. What if your deepest exhaustion comes not from how much you work, but from believing that you are only as valuable as what you produce? Here is a profound and painful truth about the modern world. We have been conditioned to view ourselves as machines. From a very young age, we are taught to trade our time and energy for approval. If we achieve, we are praised. If we secure the promotion, we are respected. Over time, this transactional way of living seeps deep into our bones. We begin to measure our right to breathe by checking the boxes on our daily lists. If you spend a day resting, a quiet, lingering guilt tells you that you are wasting time, that you are lazy, that you are falling behind in life. We have attached our very identity to our output, leaving us in a constant panicked state of proving our worth. But Buddhist wisdom offers a deeply liberating perspective. In Buddhist thought, your worth is not a currency that you must earn, and it is not something that can be spent. You possess an inherent, unshakable value simply because you are alive. The relentless drive to prove your worth is tied to the ego, which constantly seeks validation from the outside world. Buddhism reminds us that when we attach our identity to our achievements, we guarantee our own suffering, because all achievements are impermanent. Titles fade, wealth shifts, and human energy naturally changes. If you believe you are only your success, who are you when the success is gone? Imagine a bright, clear mirror resting in a quiet room. Throughout the day, the mirror reflects many things. It reflects the morning sun, the busy movement of people passing by, the shadows of the evening, and the absolute stillness of the night. But no matter what the mirror reflects, its essential nature never changes. It does not become more valuable when it reflects gold, and it does not lose its value when it reflects an empty room. Its worth is simply in its pure ability to be. Your true self is like that mirror. Your job title, your daily tasks, your social media presence, and your financial achievements are just reflections passing across the glass. But we have confused the reflection for the mirror itself. We exhaust ourselves trying to make sure the glass is always reflecting something impressive, terrified that if the glass is ever empty, we will cease to matter. We bring this immense pressure into our relationships, feeling like we must constantly perform to be loved. We bring it into our quiet moments, feeling guilty for not being productive. Think about your own life. Who are you when the workday ends? If you were forced to strip away your job, your daily tasks, and all of your accomplishments, would you still feel worthy of peace? What are you trying to prove with your constant exhaustion? Pause. Breathe. Let the heavy weight of performing fall from your shoulders. You do not need to justify your existence by what you can produce today. Do your work, fulfill your responsibilities, but leave your self-worth out of the transaction. Rest is not a reward for hard work. It is a fundamental necessity of life. You are allowed to have empty hands and still be entirely whole. But to truly embrace this wholeness, you must learn how to stand in the present moment without flinching. And this is where the next truth begins. Because when you stop trying to earn your worth, you finally discover the quiet power of simply being there. 7. The quiet strength of true presence. What if the most powerful thing you can do for yourself and for the people you love is simply to stop mentally being somewhere else? Here is a truth that is easy to understand, but profoundly difficult to practice. Most of us spend our lives split in two. Our bodies are physically located in the present, but our minds are scattered violently across time. We sit across from someone we care about, but mentally, we are still locked in an argument from 3 days ago. We play with our children, but mentally, we are rehearsing tomorrow's difficult work meeting. We try to relax on a Saturday morning, but mentally, we are calculating what we must do to prepare for Monday. Because our minds are never fully anchored in the present moment, our lives feel thin, fragmented, and exhausting. We are constantly bleeding energy into a past we cannot change and a future we cannot control. In Buddhist thought, this fragmentation is the very definition of suffering. True presence is not a passive state. It is an act of profound, deliberate strength. Buddhism teaches that the present moment is the only place where reality actually exists. Everything else is an illusion constructed by the mind. When you completely align your body and your mind in the same place at the same time, you gather your scattered energy. You stop fighting ghosts, and you begin living reality. Imagine a strong, ancient ship attempting to sail across an ocean. If the captain drops 10 heavy anchors into the water, dragging them behind the ship, every inch of progress will require a tremendous, exhausting amount of fuel. The ship will move slowly, the engine will burn out, and the journey will feel impossible. This is what we do when we drag the weight of the past and the anxiety of the future into our present day. Now, imagine the captain cutting the ropes. The anchors sink to the bottom of the sea. The ship suddenly surges forward, moving smoothly, effortlessly, and powerfully across the water. Nothing about the ocean changed. The wind is the same. The ship is the same. The only difference is that the heavy, invisible resistance has finally been released. We desperately need to learn how to cut the ropes. True presence is the act of dropping the heavy anchors of overthinking and future tripping. When you finally allow yourself to simply be exactly where you are, you realize how much unnecessary weight you have been carrying. You begin to notice the people in front of you. You begin to actually taste the food you eat. You begin to feel the quiet, steady strength of being entirely whole instead of being scattered in a dozen different directions. Think about your own life. Where is your mind right now? How much of your daily exhaustion is caused by actually doing the work? And how much is caused by mentally carrying the weight of the work everywhere you go? Are you physically here, but mentally gone? Pause. Breathe. Pull your mind gently back from tomorrow when you sit down to rest tonight. Do not bring the ghost of your workday to the couch with you. When you speak to someone, give them the immense, rare gift of your unbroken attention. Let the past stay in the past. You do not have to carry the weight of everything at once. True power is found when you gather all your energy and place it entirely into the step you are taking right now. And this is where the journey finally comes together. Because when you stop fighting the current of time, you realize that the peace you have been chasing has been waiting for you all along. 8. Making peace with the present moment. What if the very place you have been trying to escape is the only place you can ever truly be free? Think back to the quiet room we spoke about at the very beginning of this journey. The empty 5 minutes that used to fill you with a sudden, restless anxiety. For so long, you treated those quiet moments as an enemy. You treated them as wasted time, terrified that if you were not moving, producing, or chasing a new thrill, you were somehow falling behind in life. You carried the heavy, invisible burden of believing that your worth was tied to your speed. And so, you filled your world with noise, with endless tasks, and with the desperate pursuit of intensity. But look at where that endless running has brought you. It has not brought you peace. It has only brought you a profound, lingering emotional exhaustion. Buddhist wisdom invites us to put down the heavy armor we have been wearing. It teaches us that true transformation does not happen when we finally conquer the world around us. It happens when we finally stop fighting the present moment. You do not need to constantly stir the muddy water to make it clear. You do not need to force the winter tree to miraculously grow leaves. You do not need to drag heavy anchors across the ocean. You only need to let the natural rhythm of life return. When you detach your identity from your achievements, when you stop craving the deafening roar of novelty, the ordinary world softly reveals its beauty. You realize that a quiet morning is not a void waiting to be filled with anxiety. It is a sanctuary. A slow, uneventful afternoon is not a failure of ambition. It is a deeply necessary rest. The silence is no longer a locked door hiding your fears. It is an open sky, wide enough to hold all of your thoughts without forcing you to become them. Imagine waking up tomorrow without the frantic urge to immediately justify your existence. Imagine walking through your home, feeling the solid floor beneath your feet, and accepting that this simple act of living is entirely enough. You no longer have to drag the ghosts of the past or the fears of tomorrow into this sacred space. You are here, and here is enough. Ask yourself, what would happen if you simply declared that today you have done enough? What if you decided that right now, in this exact moment, there is nothing left to fix, nowhere left to run, and nothing you need to prove? Pause, breathe, observe the quiet strength that rises when you finally stop fighting yourself. You do not need to chase a future peak to feel alive. You do not have to earn your right to breathe by checking another box on a list. Your worth is inherent, unshakable, and entirely independent of your output. The peace you have been desperately searching for has been quietly waiting for you all along, hidden gently within the ordinary moments you were rushing past. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. You can let go now.